Hi, I'm Alexi, and thank you so much for joining me. I just want to first of all welcome you. As a life coach and business strategy consultant, my goal is to help clients achieve big results with little effort. Now, how do I do that? I help people use their brain and use their languaging in such a way that they could really maximize their time and energy spent to get the kind of results that would normally take people a much longer time to do it. And how is that, you might ask? Well, my background is in neuro-linguistic programming, where how you use languaging programs your brain, the neuro part, linguistic, the language, and it creates the results out in the world. So what I'm going to teach you are some helpful tips that will allow you to use your brain in a way that you can really maximize your time with it if you knew what these tips were. Okay, so let's just begin. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at alexi@littleeffortbigresults.com. Okay, so secret tip number one is listening. I know you're probably a good listener and you're wondering why listening, okay? If you're in direct sales or if you're in any sort of sales position or coaching position, it's really important for the client or potential client to feel heard. It's important for their brain to register that you hear them. So what I'm going to teach you is how to listen in such a specific way that your client will get on a subconscious level that you're actually listening, okay? So the first step that I want to share with you is to figure out how you naturally listen and process information. And the easiest way to do that is by taking both hands and clasping together. And notice which thumb is on top. Okay, mine has the left thumb on top. Now when the left thumb is on top, that means that you are a right brain lead. So it's the opposite thumb to the opposite side of the brain. Okay, because also think about this. Your left thumb is pointing to the right. So what that would be called in my line of work is you are a right brain lead. Now right brain lead means just that. You lead with your right brain. You're a big picture thinker. You start with relationships before you get to the details. Okay? So now if you clasp your hands and your right thumb is on top, you are a left brain lead. So it's the opposite finger. Okay? So right thumb on top is you are a left brain lead. And what that means is you like the details. You like to know specifics of how things are going to go. Okay? So for example, if you're a right brain lead and I were to invite you to a party over the weekend, I would say, hey, Joe and I are going to get together with a bunch of people from work on Saturday afternoon at the local pub. Would you like to join us? Or we're going to go to the beach, or we're going to have a party. And it's going to be a great time, so come along. Okay? So right brain lead will go, okay, cool, it sounds like fun. Now if you're a left brain lead though, listening to this, that probably wasn't very interesting to you, okay? So left brain lead, to invite a left brain lead to a party would go something like this. Listen, Joe and I are going to get together at 3 o'clock. We're going to McGinty's Pub, which is located at Fairfax and Wilshire. We're going to meet with Stanley, Barbara, and Julie for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, then maybe get dinner at the local Indian food right across the street afterwards. Would you like to join us? It's a lot of fun. So that would be a left brain lead. So why this is important is to know, number one, if you can understand how your brain functions, you'll be better able to distinguish how other brains of other people function. Because think about this, if you are a right brain lead, I want you to try this. If you're a right brain lead with your left thumb on top, clasp your hands the opposite way. Okay, how does that feel? For most people, it feels kind of awkward and weird. And also, if you're a left brain lead with the right thumb on top, clasp it the opposite way for you. Now, how does that feel? Kind of odd. I know for me it does, and I know for many clients it does as well. You know, and then you have the ambidextrous people who it's just normal either way, and bravo for you, you know, because that means you could be a right brain lead and a left brain lead, and you could go on either side. But for most people, if you are a right brain lead, it's really important to know when you're talking to prospects on the phone or in person that they're going to want details. Have you ever felt yourself kind of talking to air and getting a blank stare looking back at you, and then you don't get a call back? Chances are that person could have been a left brain lead. Now, if you're left brain lead, have you ever tried talking to prospects where their kind of eyes glaze over because you're giving them way too much detail? All they want is the big picture. What's your product going to do for me? You know? So, for you, just figure out, number one, which lead you are. And now that you know the difference between right brain and left brain, see if you could determine what other people are just by listening to their languaging, listening to how they're talking. And then if you know them well enough, ask them to clasp their hands and see which lead they are. Okay? And just practice, because the better you're able to distinguish with your listening, if they're a right brain lead or a left brain lead, you will be better able to communicate your message to them, and they will actually be able to receive it so much more if you spoke in their language, okay? So I hope that tip helped today. So until the next time, I invite you to practice. Practice, practice, practice. If you're a right brain lead, see if you could pick out any of the left brainers versus the right brainers. And if you're a left brain lead, do the same and practice trying on their shoes, okay? For a left brain lead, it might be hard to do big picture. And if you would like more sales or more deals to close, perhaps you're attracting more right brainers who just aren't quite getting your message because you're giving them too much detail. You know, they just want the bottom line. And for all you right brainers out there listening to this, practice giving them details, specific details, because your closing ratio will increase just by this little tip alone. If you just notice and listen really, really closely to what your prospects are telling you, because in their own way, they're telling you how to close the sale with them. Because if you're like most people, you go call someone because you're interested in the product that they have to offer. Okay, so I invite you to just practice this for the next couple of days, because as this series goes along, we're going to continue building on what you've learned the mini class before. Okay, so until then, I'm Alexi, and again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at alexi@littleeffortbigresults.com. And if there is a comment box down below, I would love to hear your feedback on how you enjoyed this video, or how it could be better for you. Okay, until we see each other again, I'm Alexi, and I'll see you soon.